Hello, WCC community, Westchester Community College Vikings. Welcome to our virtual Flag Day celebration. My name is Juan-Carlos Piñeiro. I'm the Assistant Director of Assistant Director of Student Involvement for Leadership and Multicultural Programs here at WCC. I have a couple different events I want to tell you about happening this June, and then I'll pass it on to the two gentlemen that you see on the screen to take over today's virtual Flag Day celebration. So today we're celebrating Flag Day. This is an event taking place from 11 to about 12 p.m. On Friday, June 19th, we're celebrating Juneteenth. Juneteenth is a celebration of the actual and official day of the freeing of enslaved peoples here in the United States. The last peoples that learned about their freedom were in Louisiana and Texas, and word got to them much later. And so we celebrate that day as the actual day of liberation, and we have a number of speakers during that day, different activities and experiences. We even have a spoken word poet as well. And then on June 24th, from 7 to 8 p.m., we're going to be celebrating summer solstice. So summer solstice is technically the longest day of the year because we're going to have a lot of sun that day. But unfortunately, summer solstice lands on this Saturday, June 20th. So we're going to be celebrating it on June 24th from 7 to 8 p.m. with an amazing yoga teacher who's going to be guiding us through the experience of setting intentions for yourself this summer and the upcoming year and semester. And she'll be leading us through a yoga experience as well. Not going to be too intense yoga, just enough to get us in the right mindset for the next couple months. But again, today we're celebrating Flag Day. Technically, Flag Day was yesterday, but I felt it prudent for us to celebrate this day. It's a very important day. Flags around the world are very important pieces of symbolic history that have meaning, and I think that as time has progressed and as we've evolved into more contemporary times, we sometimes forget the meaning and the actual truth behind our flags. I reached out to our Veteran Services folks, Director of Veteran Services Josh Gaccione and Travis Melby, who's involved with the Veteran Services program as well at WCC. They also work with our Veterans Club students, and they're going to be facilitating an experience for you here today to remember what the flag is about, to honor the flag. We'll also be experiencing a ceremony, and hopefully if you have questions, you can stick around and ask them at the end. Thank you for those of you that just joined in on the call. Again, this will be recorded, so we will be sending out to the WCC community. But now I'll be passing it on to Josh and Travis so they can lead us through this experience today. Thank you to you both for your service and for your efforts in today's experience.
Juan-Carlos, thank you. Thank you for having us. I've been practicing my crow pose, so I'm ready to go for the yoga.
That's a good one. That's an intense one. It's good.
Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Josh Gaccione.
I'm Travis Melby.
And you might recognize us. We got our masks on, but you might recognize us from the Veterans Resource Office at Westchester Community College and the Office of Student Support Services. As Juan-Carlos mentioned, we're both combat veterans from the United States Army. We actually served in Iraq together, which is a little serendipitous, I guess.
Indeed.
And if you're wondering, he's holding the phone down much lower because he's got about a foot on me, but you know, we're doing what we can. So today we're at American Legion Post 979, along with folks from the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 2285 of Eastchester, with Commanders Jude Stenson and Bob Foster, respectively. So instead of just listing off a bunch of facts for you today, what we're going to do is show you a ceremony that we do annually, which is a flag retirement ceremony. We're very happy to have you here. There will be several readings. There'll be a rifle salute with dummy rifles, so just kind of be ready for that when that time comes, along with playing taps and the raising of the flag. Okay?
So I get the honor of listing some fun facts. For example, this is the 104th year that we've had the Flag Day celebration, starting in 1916. The current American flag is also the 40th version, official version of the United States flag. Now everybody knows it has stars and stripes and the colors, but not everybody's aware of the various colors that it symbolizes or what the colors do symbolize. For example, red symbolizes hardness and value. White symbolizes purity and innocence. And blue represents vigilance, persistence, and justice. And with no further ado, I'm going to give you, once again, Jacques Gaccione for the opening of the ceremony. Mr. Gaccione. I'll give you a few more fun facts while we're getting everything ready. On June 14th, 1977, when the Constitution passed the first flag to resolve, the flag of the United States must be made of 13 stripes, alternating in red and white. The Union to be 13, with it in blue filled, representing the new coalition of states. Another fun fact for you. And now, once again, Mr. Gaccione.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us today at American Legion Post 979. Before we get started, I just want to, I want everybody to be aware that we're recording this live for our friends at Westchester Community College, the Veterans Resource Office, and they are here with us live digitally for those who couldn't make it. Again, thanks for joining American Legion Post 979 and VFW Post 2285, along with Commanders Robert Foster, Jude Stenson, from the American Legion, our friends from the Eastchester Fire Department, Tuckahoe Police Department, and of course Tuckahoe's finest, our mayor. Thank you all for joining us. Like Chief Costanza said, Flag Day, like Memorial Day, is a tradition that we need to keep, now as much as ever. Our past strengths should not be forgotten as we forge a new, inclusive way forward based on mutual respect, acceptance, action, and fostered with love. It is now my distinct privilege to introduce an Eastchester High School graduate and one of our friends who we've seen for years and years and years. She's going on to do bigger and better things now, Nicolette Mancini, to sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets wriggling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you so much. You're going to still come back and do this for us, right?
Yeah, I'll come back.
Beautiful. Thank you. It is now my privilege to do our first reading. I am the flag. I was born on June 14th, 1777. I am more than just a piece of cloth shaped into a colorful design. I am the silent sentinel of freedom for the greatest sovereign nation on earth. I am the inspiration gave their lives and fortune. I'm the emblem of America. I led your sons into battle from Valley Forge to Vietnam. I have been there through the Civil War, 2 World Wars, at Gettysburg, the Gulf War, and now Iraq and Afghanistan. I was there with George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Dwight Eisenhower, Thomas Franks, and more. And now I'm here with you. I have flown through peace and war, through strife and prosperity, and amidst it all, I have always been respected. My red stripes symbolize the blood spilled in defense of this glorious nation. My white stripes, the burning tears shed by Americans who lost their sons in battle. My blue field represents God's heavens under which I fly, and my stars clustered together, unified 50 states as one for God and country. My honor to introduce to you our friend to us all, Mr. Vito Pinto.
I am Old Florence. More than 90 years, I have been the banner of hope and freedom for generation after generation of Americans. Born amid the first flames of America's fight for freedom, I am the symbol of a country that has grown from a little group of 13 colonies to a united nation of 50 sovereign states. Planted firmly on the high pinnacle of American faith, my gently fluttering folds have proved an inspiration to untold millions. Men have followed me into battle with unwavering courage. They have looked upon me as a symbol of national unity. They have prayed that they and their fellow citizens might continue to enjoy the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, which have been granted to every American as the heritage of free men. So long as men love liberty more than life itself, so long as they treasure the priceless privileges bought with the blood of our forefathers, so long as the principles of truth, justice, and charity for all remain deeply rooted in human hearts, I shall continue to be the enduring banner of the United States of America. It's my pleasure now to introduce the Tuckahoe Chief of Police, John Costanza. I hold Florida, and I proudly wave on high. Honor me, respect me, and defend me with your lives. Never let our enemies tear me down from my lofty position, lest I never return. Keep alight the fires of patriotism. Strive earnestly for the spirit of democracy, and keep me always as a symbol of freedom, liberty, and peace in our country. When it comes the time when I am old and faded, do not let me fly in disrepair. Rather, retire me from my duties, only to replace me with a new flag, so that I can continue to symbolize our country. With this, renew your commitment to what I stand for, and pledge your allegiance to me one final time.
Join us in the flag.
Mr. Tom Vinton of the American Legion.
Join us in the flag. Present all. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The flag of our nation should always be strong, vivid symbol of our land, and fly brightly in our minds. Our flag is a symbol of our people, our freedom, and our strength. So it's now that I commit this flag, for which no longer can fulfill these duties, to the fire, so that we may replace it with a new flag to properly symbolize our nation.
Ready? Aim. Fire. 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 Fire.
I'd like to introduce Bob Foster, the commander of the VFW. Thank you, Tom. 7 stripes and 6 white stripes. Together they represent the 13 original colonies that gained us liberty. The stars represent the 50 sovereign states of our union. The red stripes remind us of the lifeblood of the brave men and women who were ready to die for this and their country. The white stripes remind us of the purity of purpose, thought, word, and deed. The blue is what truth and justice, like the eternal blue of the star-filled heaven. May the spirit of this land be reborn. And in this land, we fly today. We can go. Since the birth of our flag in 1777, millions of men and women took an oath to defend the Constitution and your freedom. The freedom that you fight for actually gives you the right to burn the same land and disrespect standards. But doing so disrespects the 1.3 billion who died to preserve freedom. That number includes 340,000 Union soldiers who died to preserve the land, the Union, and freedom from slavery. With the 400,000 who saved the world from a tyranny that already killed 6 million Jews and 6 million others that the American race did not want. How many of us would be alive today if not for the great generation? Now, as time is going on, some people say it's just a piece of cloth. And that's quite basically right. Since the revolution, men would fight for the honor to carry the flag back. If the bearer was killed, it's like him to carry it. It's just a piece of cloth. I actually think the men carrying the flag standing on hill after the trek from World War I to the beaches of France, the islands of the Pacific in World War II. It's just a piece of cloth. The Marines lifted it to the top, the Mexico button, to give purpose and inspiration to so many others there and at home. It's just a piece of cloth. It traveled through the mud and snow in Korea and was always treated with the greatest respect. Traveling through the guts of Vietnam, flying over so many base camps in the airfield, the old source home, looking up to Jesus, God's strength, flowing with, strength of the flow. With more players flying drones in Afghanistan and Iraq, on platforms and base camps, where hate, my home, but love so much more by the truth protection. Just the floor. We can only imagine the thrill breakfast cup he had when he saw the flag still flying over Fort Dependence after that long battle. Is it just peace for? Let us today give us just a piece of thought, the respect and honor it deserves. Let it stand to those who died for us, so they know peace in our hearts. We will never know another piece of cloth for so much meaning for so many. If we should ever kneel to this flag or its answers, it will be a prayer for those who give him so much, for the freedom we enjoy today, and for the hope and inspiration he gave to us in our way for hope. As a veteran, I want to thank you all, and I want to thank Dr. Gaccione for help us continue this ceremony. It is more important than most believe. Now I'd like to call Nicolette back up for God bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Is she great? Once again, thank you all. Thank everybody that took part in this. It was fantastic. Josh, again, thank you. And, we're going to put some flags down. We're going to have a little cookout. So please stay and enjoy it. I don't have COVID-19, and I'll be happy to shake anybody's hand that wants to come.
There we are again. All right, so this is our annual flag ceremony. We're actually going to have one of our alumnus who's here, since we have a couple of more minutes, just come and say a couple of words. He was, if we can get him, he is the commander here, so he gets kind of busy. But you know, one of the things as veterans that we do is, you know, we respect everybody's opinion on this, and what we want to do is just make sure that our retired flags kind of get the treatment that they deserve, which is, you know, to be burned in a ceremonial way. Travis, anything?
I agree. I think it's important to recognize all different types of viewpoints. It's one of the things I think we both help fight for. You don't have to agree with it to respect the right for it. And I also agree that our flags deserve to have this type of ceremony to show them the respect that I believe they deserve.
Yeah. Juan-Carlos, we can, if anybody has any questions or anything, we're good.
Hello, folks. If anybody has any questions, I have the group chat available. I can open it now. Yep. And if somebody wants to mute themselves and ask a question, that way you can do that as well. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Travis. Let's give folks a moment or two. Let's give folks a moment or two to see if they want to post any questions. I know there was someone that was specifically asking about, is this the appropriate way of disposing of a flag? And I explained that, yes, this is it has to be done in exactly this way. Could one of you or the two of you explain why it is that it's burned in this way, why it's done in this way, and what it means to burn it in this way?
Say it again.
So Juan-Carlos asked, a student asked Juan-Carlos, why is the flag burned in this specific manner?
Oh, perfect. Thank you. So it's ceremonially, it's done as you saw, in a repetitive step, similar to like when we'll have dinners and we will honor, keep a seat empty for prisoners of war and those folks who have passed in battle. It's just a ceremony like any other. When this one was created, it was created in this format. Is that to say it's going to be like this forever? I don't know. It's like this now. And it's a safe, respectable way. Like I said, we have our friends from Eastchester Fire Department here.
Hello.
There they are. Just so the fire doesn't get out of control. It's just a good way to make sure, one, that all the flags get replaced that need to get replaced, and two, that these don't end up, in our landfills and elsewhere.
And it's also meant to be respectful the way we're doing it. More than anything, I think it's designed to show the respect and reverence to the flag that most veterans feel it deserves.
And actually, if you flip that screen, you can actually see Bob here is burning some now. But the ones that will not get burned are like the prisoner of war POW flags there. Those will not get burned. Just the American flag, just the stars and stripes.
Got it. Thank you very much. Another question is, how do you know when a flag is ready to be retired, or why is a flag being retired in the first place?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's no scientific method as far as that goes. It's just the eyeball test. Now, every year we'll go to some of the local ceremonies here and replace the flags at the graves regardless, just because they've been there for a year. But we have people like our former Veterans Commissioner and County Legislator Vito Pinto, who will ride around town with flags in his trunk and hand them out to our neighbors whose flags look a little torn and tattered, which is something that he's always done. He'll also remind us how to fly them correctly. One of the things that our commander does, Bob Foster, is he allows us to kind of take the flags from there. And if we have a flagpole at our own houses or apartments, we can put them up there or help replace them. But again, it's more the eyeball test than anything else.
Exactly. I mean, it's that old saying, I don't know how to describe it, but I know it when I see it.
Bingo.
Got it. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And then I have a question. I don't see any other questions, but for those of you on the call, if you do have a question, feel free to post it and I'll ask the two gentlemen here today, Josh and Travis. But I do have one more question from my lens, and I know this may seem more like an opinion question, but the flags of the world hold symbolism, and they hold a lot of symbolism. For the two of you, what would you say if somebody saw you on the street and said, hey, I got a question for you. What is the flag to you? What does the flag mean to you as somebody that has fought for this nation and is involved in experiences such as this one?
Sure, that's an excellent question. What the flag means to me, it means it's a symbol of my country. It's the symbol of my military service. It's a symbol of all the generations that came before me and hopefully the generations that will come after me, to represent my country and the fight for freedom and hopefully a better life. Ultimately, we all want better lives for us, our family, our friends, and that's what the flag means to me. Is our country perfect? No, but our citizens have the rights that they do because of that flag, because of the men and women who stood behind that flag and said, not today. Today, we still keep it standing.
And just like Travis's answer, it means something different to everyone. We share a lot of similarities on this. I think we both are very much in support of the protests and things that are going on now. And why? Our country, our flag represents the ability to do that. We fought in wars to help people get the right to protest. We're so happy that marginalized folks whose voices haven't been heard in such a long time are getting heard now.
Exactly.
Finally. And now we're hoping that this moves to social action. And again, this is all possible in this country. Now, like Travis said, we are not perfect. We are far from perfect. We are, 400-year work in progress. But listen, hopefully we're able to kind of take something from this, and that's what the flag means to me, the ability to do that.
That's right. Having the freedom to make things better.
Thank you, gentlemen. Somebody posted in the chat, lots of applause from here. Thank you very much to both of you. I have one last question that I see posted, and then I'll let you go on your way, and I appreciate, again, your time today. The question is in relation to the flag being half mast. Like, what does that mean when a flag is not all the way up, and can you explain a little bit about the jargon that's used, half mast? What does that mean exactly?
You want me to take that?
Yep.
So nationally, there's only one person who can order that the flag get half-mast, and that's the president. But on state and local levels, your municipal leaders or your governors or your county executives, they can also order it to get half-mast. Now, it's generally at half-mast when you are in mourning or in memorial of something tragic. So on Memorial Day, it's going to be flown at half-mast. Anytime someone who is kind of a public hero or a large public figure has passed away, you'll see it at half-mast. After 9/11, I think it was 6 months or something at half-mast. So you'll see that. And during COVID-19 here in Eastchester, they had suggested that we fly them at half-mast for a month, which we did at our house, and we did on our, our veteran service organizations. But it's to know that there's distress, and then it makes you think, what is that? What's going on? Why is the flag at half-mast? And there are websites too that you can kind of go and see if your flag's supposed to be at half-mast or not. But it's generally to represent, a memorial or something, a tragedy that's happened.
Exactly. And generally, when you do notice a flag's at half-mast, people ask, well, why is it a half-mast? So then that causes you to take action, be it a simple Google search or asking a friend, and kind of recognize what has happened to cause the flag to lower.
Thank you very much for the answers. Thank you for including us in this experience and explaining it to our WCC Viking community here. If there's any last words from either of you, we'd appreciate them. And if not, we'll call it an experience for folks.
Gaccione out.
All right. I love the tie too, Gaccione. Take care, gentlemen. Have a wonderful day, and thank you
For everyone that
Yes,
came and that's
thank you
going to
so
watch
much.
this. Thank you.